Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charles Dyer, and I'm going to try something a little bit different today. So, a friend of mine recommended the concept of coding ASMR. And I think it was a joke, but I figured I'd try my hand at it just this once. If you are enjoying it, consider clicking that like button and leave a comment about your day. I'm going to probably start doing this as another segment on my channel, since AGP has a couple more episodes, but it is sort of winding down. Today I'm working on my game. It's going to be about a plant that goes and smacks some people. And here it is. Look at the little shoot. He growing nice and big and tall. And then if I grab him, I can make him smack. Smack. Well, partial of the way there. There's a little bit of behavior modification that I need doing, but we'll get there. So part of what I'm wanting here is I want a castle wall that I can smack and break. So first, let's change when it is that the capsules become untouchable. So that's necessary because when the vine goes and smacks into the ground, there's a problem where it squishes them between the ground and the floor, and that basically makes it so that it sort of squishes between the ground and doesn't go anywhere. So the hope is that by making it so that the plant is briefly untouchable, we'll make things physical. So one way to do this is to create a delayed call via the invoke method. So I'm going to do that. We're going to come up here. Actually, let's go down below. I don't know if there's technically a design implication to why you'd want to do it one way or the other. So we go void, make collidable, and we just do it like this, and it should be as easy as that. So then back up here, when sim is enabled, invoke. Does not work the way I thought it does. Huh. Probably so. So there should be a sample version of this up here somewhere that I can look. So dormant runs, and when dormant runs, sorry for the scrolling, invoke, capital invoke. No need for any of this funny. Okay. So it should be, let me just copy the name of the make collidable. I violated the naming convention there, but that happens. sometimes. I got a lazy pinky. Drives people crazy when they read messages from me because sometimes I just capitalize stuff in the middle of the thing. And float, we'll give it like 2 seconds. I went on a walk earlier. I like getting on the elliptical and just cranking the resistance and the cross ramp all the way up. Daydream about hiking mountains. There's no real mountains around me. It's all just plateaus and that kind of thing. But I say that because, yeah, there we go. That looks like it's working perfectly. But I say about the mountain climbing because I know a lot of people in tech really like climbing. But I got a squeeze in the wrong place, and I don't really like it so much anymore. I was kind of afraid to do it again. But I think this is good. So now we get to the main event of what I've been doing, what I was planning to do. And it's a little bit complicated. So let me pull out the whiteboard of freedom. I'll be right back. We're gonna get some tippy-tappy keys for a minute. So, over here in our whiteboard, the way that this works is we're doing what's called a Voronoi tessellation. And the idea should be that we are able to get some points in here. I usually call them seeds. And from the seeds, if you find a few of its nearest neighbors, you would then draw a line between them. I'm going to approximate it, but it may not necessarily be the best approximation of things. And the idea is that you draw it such that there's lines basically at every midpoint. And so the result is a pattern that shows up pretty much everywhere. Shows up in dragonfly wings and jaguars and shows up in soap bubbles and rock walls. And the rock walls are what I'm kind of hoping for this time around. But it should just basically put a line on each corner of the things. It's like that. And so programmatically, this is done with, I don't know if that's the right line or not, but that'll be fine. No mistakes, just happy accidents. It looks something like that. And if you wave the lines, it'll be the giraffe color or that kind of thing. So, the gist of it is that there's some programmatic stuff that I gotta do. And if it was mesh, I'd have no trouble doing it. But because we're doing in 2D, I'm a little bit hesitant to try to figure out how to do it. So there's some funny stuff involved, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Really hope these key presses are picking up, because it adds nice bit to the vibe. Clickety clack. Okay, so with mesh, the idea is that we'd be able to find these points here, and it would be easy enough to just go around the circle and connect each section of mesh to the thing here, because meshes are triangles. Oh, geez, I'm doing all kinds of tech examples here. But meshes are triangles, basically, so every single one of these points is a triangle. Yeah, that one is too. And so it should just be a matter of sweeping in a circle and ordering them from clockwise from some arbitrary position. And that's how I did it one time. But the main issue is actually trying to find these points, because the way that it ends up working is that you have to have 3 points to actually find the center point, and then it's equidistant from each of them, which means that you have to basically find this line, and then you gotta find this line, and between finding all the lines you basically end up having a vector system, set of vectors that all point in the same direction. But then you need to basically find 3, then you need to check across all of the seeds and find the ones that are the 3 closest to each other. And they're not like exclusive, but they are when you're trying to find a point like this. Because then you can get weird shit like a point here, because this one wasn't actually close enough to be writing the way that it should be. So it's a little weird, but that's with mesh. With technically with sprites it would be possible, but it becomes even a little bit weird there too, because with the sprites you're basically trying to, you would basically draw, you would create a new copy of the thing, set its pivot to the seed here, and then paint in this section here, so that it's an independent object with a sprite that's in the spot it needs to be. Both of those don't seem very good. Now I could like happily just do it this way and make it so that when you smack it, it like breaks, but that feels boring. So we'll see how it goes. First I'm gonna see if sprites actually work, so we can get a plane 3D objects. Now he's secret. If we pop into scene view, he's not really there, he's sideways. So that's a big plane. Do we have a little quad? We have a little quad. Happy little quad. There we go. He's a little bit dark, but it gets the job done. So I think right now the issue is that there is no lighting, which means that the way that I need to fix this, how do I fix this? Oh, I changed the material to sprites default. There we go. Okay. So then I'd be able to color this however I want and put whatever sprite I want in here. So then I'd basically give it like a Minecraft-esque cobblestone texture, and we'd be able to plop this down. He's got a mesh collider, which isn't really what we want. We actually want, sorry about that. And we're back. Alright, so, as I was saying, I'm gonna give this a Minecraft-esque cobblestone texture, and then probably write some code to break it up. So, we're gonna need a Box Collider 2D for now. But when it finally breaks open, we're gonna need to change that. So the thing I don't necessarily like about this is that it's tiny, but I could theoretically just break this up as I see fit. I don't know the size of my wall, so I'm going to do a bit of a sneaky, and I'm going to make it so that this isn't just a quad, it's a box of any size and shape I want. So we're going to create a castle behavior. Probably doesn't need to say behavior, that's probably redundant. Have we added this? Oh, look at me. Renaming things. Okay, so I should be able to go to this quad and write some new castle. Why are you not initializing? There we go, okay. So the castle is going to have a public width and a public height that is describing the bounds of the thing. And the idea is that this is going to be what we write to the mesh with, and that should let us also write to the collider. So we're gonna need 4 vertices, and those 4 vertices are going to ultimately be shaped such that we make a square, which means that we need shouldn't need to be public. Oh, those should definitely be vector 2s. Or vector 3s. Let's do vector 3s. Mesh points. Might as well call it what it is, verts. And then on start, we're going to need to create 4 verts. So relative to the transform dot position, we are going to add we're going to initialize verts with a length of 4. Hey, look at you being smart, IntelliSense. Good job, computer, good job. And then we should have vector 3 verts index 0 is equal to vector 3 transform dot position plus vector 3 dot up times half height, and then we can dupe that. also going to need a private int array. Here at Charles Dyer Industries, we love our procedural meshing. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, we're going to go clockwise. So, if it was up, we should have it to the left too. So, it should be plus vector3 dot left. We might end up changing the order, but we'll worry about that. We'll burn that bridge when we're on it. And so then we copy this. And up, height, left, times width divided by 2. So now instead of left, we're going to the right. And we go and get verts. Index of 2. And that should be the copy of this, but instead of up, we're now down. And then we should be able to get a copy of this and make it so that 0, 1, 2, and guess it with me, 3 is now down and left. So with these 4 positions, we're going to need tries, and it should be tries equals new int not 4, but 6. And we should have tries dot, there's no add in arrays, try as 0 equals, so if we go over here for a second, we can say that, hold on, let me make sure that I do it right. The first one is up and to the left, and then we go clockwise, so I was correct. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so as such, we need to make 2 triangles that go clockwise. So 1, 2, 4, and 2, 3, 4. What if I go like this instead? 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1. I like that better. So 1, 2, 3. Give ourselves a little space. 4. 3. And then we have 1. And so on start, if we give this a height and a width, let's give it something nice. Those 2 should be public. If we give it 3 and 3, that should now be, oh, right. Funny thing about that, you have to actually implement the part that changes the mesh. So I'm going to need a mesh renderer, and I'm going to need a, there's no mesh collider 2D, is there? There is none. Okay, so then let's just use the box collider for now. We'll not worry about the collider for now. the physics will be a little bit wonky, but right now we just care about the MR. But I think we need the mesh filter as well. Do we get a shared mesh? No, we don't. It is the mesh. It is the mesh filter. MF. Mother, father. Shared mesh equals. Oh. New mesh. Oh, crap. I need to also create a new mesh. And then should be my mesh.vertices is verts. My mesh.triangles is tries. Shared mesh is my mesh. And then we save. If it disappears, it's because I'm working in the wrong order. Oh, complicated. Oh, I didn't actually find my mesh. Fantastic. Okay. Been at this 20 minutes. That should be a good start, but I'm going in for the long haul. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh? You're yelling at me. Why are you yelling at me? Excuse you? Some indices are referencing out-of-bound vertices. The index count is 6, the vertex count is 4. One, two, three, 3, 4, 1. I'm sorry. One, two, three, 3, 4, 1. That shouldn't fix it. Oh, because I'm using one index in my brain. There we go. That's an easy enough fix. So, we've done it. I think. Oh, but it's global. That's a problem. Isn't that what this is supposed to deal with? Unless the mesh renderer already assumes that you're operating off of global or local space. In which case it should be that easy. So let's see what I got. Fantastic. And if I drag the X and Y values, it's working as intended. And it definitely has a situation by which it's getting whatchamacallit. I have to write some special code to deal with the fact that it's being swatted by the plant, but we're in good shape. I will be right back after these short messages. As it turns out, the messages that were being sent were the ones to my friends. Fortunately, my friend's dog isn't doing too well. It's a sad day, but I hope it either gets better or doesn't have to suffer anymore. So, I'm going to take a sip from my water, and we're going to work on chunking up the square a little bit when it gets hit, as well as dealing with the missing components exceptions. So, this is on the plant behavior, so I have to just make sure that it's basically as easy as just going rigid body 2D, RB, hit, RB is equal to hit transform.get component, and then we just say if hit RB does not equal null. Good old little error checking. Does not equal null. Then we run the code that adds the impulses to the hit rigid body. Hot rigid body. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to copy the position so that when we exit play mode, we can paste position. There we go. So it should be easily strikeable. And that took care of it, looks like. Okay. So, now we gotta do a little bit more math and fanciness, which is gonna be exciting. So, that's the overarching one, and we get rid of it. And now we just sort of create random points within the thing to create little pieces that can get chunked off. So this much should be easy because it should just be a random number between the height and the width plugged into a thing. But the question becomes, how do I order it so that they are easily able to determine who its three closest neighbors are, so that we can draw up some of these. And the thing is that I think finding the three closest neighbors is a thing called a Delaney triangulation. But I'm gonna have to look that up. Which means that when it comes down to it, this may be the end for now. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed. And if this is more content that you'd like to see, consider leaving a comment and clicking like. And have a great week. I hope that all your labors are chill and relaxed. The kind of stuff that you can do with a warm cup of coffee and a smile on your face. And as always, stay alive out there.